Yo, what is good? My quick crypto family and my coin factory family, we're back again with your Casper crypto live. I apologize for not going live yesterday. Something came up out of the blue which required my full attention, and even so, I would also apologize to those watching on playback. I had to start a little bit earlier today as well, due to again it not being completely resolved, but be that as it may, we have still got some content for today. We got some interesting announcements. The idea of this stream today, we'll be trying to give a little bit of a week outlook for Casper and for crypto as a whole, what we may end up seeing, alongside a lot of the big Casper developments as well. Of course, glossing over briefly regarding the recent Casper versus Bitcoin debate, which, full disclosure, I have not had the liberty of listening to all of it just yet, but I do plan to do that very soon, the moment I can. But we have got some other announcements as well. Also very interesting regarding to Casper and what is coming. All in all, we're looking very good for the next couple of months, in my personal belief. Of course, not financial advice, but again, those who are aware, who've been here for a while, you will know that I tend to hold my VIP exclusive roundtables every single Sunday around 3 p.m. BST, which is 2 p.m. UTC. And we just covered some very big documents from the likes of JP Morgan, for example, alongside many more, which did indicate a significant shift happening right now, as we're already aware of, but also the big bang moment happening in just a couple months from now. We'll get into all of that. Well, we'll get into the big bang moment a little bit. If you want to find out more about the JP Morgan stuff and all the other institutional documents and the playback for the roundtable, which has already been posted in the VIP, wop.com/coin factory, 7-day free trial. We do private live every week, trade alerts, alpha information, educational videos, all that sort of stuff. If you want to find out more, links down below in the description. I'll come back to this later on though. Either way, let's get into the content for today's stream and the pleasantries. Welcome back, family. Once again, Josh G, smoothest intro and voice out there. I don't know about that, but I appreciate you very much, brother. Absolutely, Casper legend. Thank you very much, man. Welcome back to the stream, brother. And you too, Gosu, second, unfortunately, but still welcome back, man. Good to have you back again. Rayleigh, yo to you too. And yes, smash that like button, peeps, and take a seat. Enjoy the content for today. We're looking very good today right now. We can see currently up 8.77% on the daily time for Casper, and of course the VIP, we covered a lot more in detail regarding the price action and movement for Casper with our experienced trader C Crypto in there. To paraphrase a little bit of what he said and stuff we've already been saying ourselves here, Casper has been holding this level, which is good. If it can hold above 0.1, so 10 cents, that'd be very good. Regaining 11 cents would be even better. And of course, then depending on the fundamentals, that'll determine where Bitcoin, Ethereum, Casper, they are going to move this week. This week's going to be a very big one, truth be told, and I'm sure some people know why. Those who don't, you'll find out in the stream, so stay tuned. My quick crypto family, you know it. Everyone here, we're part of the biggest, most supportive family in this space. Future Crypto Elite is here. Welcome back, Dimitar, bro. Hope you're doing very well, my man. Early you, yes, Kryptoni. I am early today. I couldn't go live at the usual time, which is 2 hours later usually. And I do apologize for that. Sometimes, unfortunately, I'm unable to go live at the usual time. I do try to give announcements in the Discord server, although saying that my announcement was only an hour prior, so it didn't give a lot of people a lot of opportunities to know. But either way, I still thought it'd be better to get a live stream out while I did have a little bit of time today, talking to my family, as opposed to just unfortunately bailing like I had to do yesterday, which I do apologize for once again. Kill Quincy, welcome back. What do you think will be the biggest use case for Casper? That's a fantastic question, actually. I think in the midterm in this particular scenario, I would say is probably the next few years. I'm talking next 1 to 2 years. Casper's biggest use case will be stables. I think every single layer 1 protocol is trying to aim to become the infrastructure for stablecoins, because that's the big thing that institutions want to get in heavily. Stablecoins can be used for yield farming, everything else as well, and for, you know, transactions and whatnot. So I think, you know, there are multiple chains out there, be it Zebek, be it Algorand, be it XRP, be it Ethereum, be it Tron, all trying to become the stablecoin leader. I think Casper, with its ability to send transactions at extremely quick times, while also being exceptionally cheap, cheaper and quicker than pretty much every other chain in the space. While Casper is still developing more and more, we've still got to wait for Dagnite and ZK opcodes and potential 32 BPS and much more. We've got a lot more coming to Casper. We're already seeing, look, this is what we're seeing right now in regards to transactions. You can see here, when I remove this and move this, you can see here the sort of capital being sent, $20.5 million, 0.00002 Casper for the transaction fee, taking 0.74 seconds. It's absolutely insane stuff. So I want to believe the big use case that everyone's going to be focusing on for crypto projects as a whole, protocols, are stables. That will then evolve into like yield farming, into, well, it'll branch out even more so, tokenization, into real estate, into energy, into gaming. There's a whole diverse, like, if everything's going to become tokenized, then if Casper is perceived as the most efficient, scalable, secure protocol out there, it won't be the only one. You've got to understand once more that just same way in our current ecosystem, in our current financial space, we have the dollar, the pound, the yen, the yuan, the euro. We have multiple different currencies. The same way we also have Bank of America, JP Morgan, the Santander, the BBVA. You've got multiple different banks out there as well. Now, they tend to all run on the SWIFT system, so there may be a definitive and leading protocol or a chain it kind of runs off, but the ultimate point is there will be multiple different derivatives that are all utilizing their own element, going through their own platform. My point being is you'll see multiple, not the thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands we have right now. There's way too many cryptos right now. It's oversaturated, but you'll see a fair number of cryptos still very much relevant. For me, the ISO compliant tokens right now, who have been there for a while, which comes under the bracket of your XRPs, your XLMs, your XDCs, your Algorand, your HBARs, potentially your DEBEX. You've got many more, your quants. They will do very well. They've been quite well integrated right now, kind of being these front runners. Now, how long that will last, again, we can debate that till death do us part. We won't know effectively until we see it what happened in real time. For me, though, Casper is going to be one that does start to steal a lot of capital due to its unique infrastructure and technology. That's a bit of a tangent. For me, okay, so medium term stable coins, long term it'll just be, the use case being that Casper becomes this kind of my hopeful belief in long term is Casper becomes an infrastructure for the entire financial world, the blockchain space, where everything will be running off Casper because it's cheaper and more decentralized, as opposed to having to use these layer 2 sequences, which are expensive and centralized and just steal fees from people. So I would say it starts off with stablecoins and it branches out a lot more from there as well. Welcome back, Buffalo bro. You're doing very, very well, man. Welcome back to the stream. I have a date later. Oh god, I wish go see if I had a date later. What's up, Seth, man? You're doing very, very well. What's up, Casper family and YouTube Buffalo and YouTube Falco? Welcome back, bro. Was watching XXIM Ankit's video on, and Okta was just name dropping Casper left and right. You know what? I actually did have a question regarding Okta recently, and I do plan to look more into it. I've been looking more into it because I think Okta is a decent play. Of course, Casper potentially working with Okta, or again vice versa, is another reason to increase my belief in Okta. Of course, those who asked me about it a little while back, you will know I haven't got many concerns for Okta just yet. I'm still trying to look for anything that may be a red flag. My main concern for Okta right now is a micro cap, which always does leave risk where it's not going to take off. It's got 18 million market cap. It's a very small asset. But also, it has lackluster exchange listings. It's got Mexi, it's got Gate, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, CoinX. Like, it's very lackluster. Now, that does therefore mean a lot of them for growth, definitely. It's only been out seemingly since 2023, maybe 2022-ish. It's not been out for that long. But it's just something that I am conscious of because of its lack of exchange listings, despite its connections to Casper seemingly now and all that sort of stuff. It does increase the possibility that when this cycle rallies, it does not pick up the cycle properly. There are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of cryptos out there. Not every single crypto will pump, especially if you're a really small asset. I'm not saying Okta's not going to pump. I'm just highlighting the possibility because it's smaller. 18, 19 mil market cap. It's a tiny market cap. Tiny. There are meme coins bigger that launch, like initial meme coins that launch and can go higher in 24 hours. Now, of course, Octa has been bigger. Octa has reached 60. So, you know, it's not... I think Octa has good potential. If it regains and manages to regain this lost price and size and manage to get back up to this all-time high of around 63 or so million market cap, or 66 even, 66 million market cap, from right now, that's looking at around a 3x in value, 3 to 4x. That's pretty good. Now, I think Octa is one that could do a lot better, but I want to see more listings. That's my main thing. I don't think you need listings. Of course, we talk about a lot of Casper. You don't need them, but they are very, very helpful. But this, for me, is just a little bit too lackluster. So how that goes from there, we'll have to wait and see. But I do plan to watch that Ankit podcast as well. He's been crushing it recently, Ankit. Shout out to him. And look more into Octa myself to see if it's worthwhile talking about on the channel as well. I've been talking a bit more about Zebec recently as well, which is because it's one that I do perceive has good potential this cycle, again being a small asset, 350 mil market cap. It's currently up 1.377 daily time frame, valued at 0.004, which does seem to be a critical level for Zebec. If I draw a trend line right now, we can see the numerous times that Zebec has found support and or resistance at the zone right here. So it is definitely a strong level for Zebec. We'll see Zebec crush through that. We'll have to wait and see. You should draw out the fib retracement as well, which showcases some key support levels. The golden pocket, this is currently the top of the golden pocket around here. So if Zebec can hold above that, that'll be a very, very good sign as well. But I'll come back full circle to Zebec because one of the videos I'm going to play, or the interviews I'm going to play, which is touching on the video I made yesterday actually, is an interview which I just want to highlight the last part of the interview here, the AMA with Algorand, where he does end up talking about their belief, and I trust their belief because they're talking to the policymakers and the government, that this big bang, this big shift will happen in the next couple of months, which means September, which I'll explain why I believe it's the case, that it's probably going to be September as well throughout this stream. Welcome back, KJI man, you're doing very, very well, brother. Welcome back to the stream. And you too, Antonio, ahoy, my man. And you too, Greg, yo, bro. Love it, bro. Thank you, I agree. Alright, all good stuff, man. I'll hopefully find out a lot more about Casper very soon and see its adoption and use case and grow more in time. And it's doing very well today, right now up 9.24%. Welcome back, Art Zero, man. Back in the stream, you're doing very, very well, brother. Check out QTC new layer 1 on Safe Trade. Only around 6 million market cap, fair launch, like Casper. Proof of work, do your own research. I'll have a look into it. QTC, never heard of it before. Always a risk with new assets. You say it was a 6 mil market cap, so I'm guessing you're talking to this one here. Well, that's QTC right there. It's got I mean, it's not showing up properly on CMC right now. At least it's not. It's got the exclamation point here saying that it's not being properly displayed on CMC when it decides it wants to load. Yeah, so it's a bit... I'm not sure if you're referring to Quitcoin here or you're referring to something else. On the initial look, that does not look that reassuring at all. It's been out since 2022 as well. So, yeah, I'm not sure that's one you're referring to or not. I personally, just on the look of that alone, not that reassured by it. Seeing a lot of warning signs initially, but again, I mean, who knows, right? And yes, Cryptony, I know you very much would not like the idea of Zebec. But again, you know, while we are predominantly Casper holders here, and I do still very much believe Casper is the best asset in this space, I do also believe in the, and I think we all believe, understand the benefit of looking at other assets, hedging your bets in regards to making profit. I'm not saying that I believe Zebec and these other assets are the future. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm saying I do see potential for them to make gains in a cycle, me to leverage that, or me to hedge my bets on that, make the gains, then put it back into my conviction picks being Casper. But yeah, Casper Excellency, indeed, Edwardson, we are going to see a lot more with Casper. That being said, though, let's get into the content now. The pleasantries are out of the way. Welcome back, Joshua, bro. You're doing very well, man. So we can see here, Casper now at 10.5 cents. 10.5 cents now. It's doing very, very well. Hopefully Casper continues in this fashion leading into this week, although this week will be very, very interesting. I think Casper's going to do very well, especially more so now that Bitcoin maximalists are starting to take note. I'll be playing this video in a moment. Shout out to Block Vibes for this, linking this to me as well. We'll see a lot more coming in the very, very near future for Casper. Currently up 8.6%. We're seeing a lot of FOMO in the market right now. Bitcoin making a nice, pump today, going up to 120k once again. Ethereum now trading near its local high again, looking like it's going to break towards the 4k zone once again at all-time highs, which is reassuring. Hopefully breaking above that as well. ETH is seeing a lot more institutional inflows now, which is fantastic. XRP has been holding strong around its, old all-time high area around here. I think XRP has still got that that momentum to still rally up higher, given what's coming out with regulatory developments as well in the very near future. Then Casper again, we know what we're looking for. We're looking to have to hold this current zone around 10 or 11 cents around here, and then make this push above here, 11 cents, and then make a higher high. So it's still therefore forming this higher high and higher low pattern as well. We need Casper to go up here, and therefore that would continue this uptrend breakout, which I still think we're very much on that move right now. And of course, if we do push above that, my price target in the immediate short term, where I think we'll see a lot of resistance for Casper, will be around this 15-cent zone here. That's where I personally, again, I could be wrong. It could get rejected at around 14 cents. Again, Casper has zones every 1 cent. That's what we've been seeing recently. So it could get rejected at 14 cents, but based on the fact that 15 cents is quite proven to be a critical level for Casper here, as you can see, going back, but also on the fact that this trend line that I drew out months back, you take these 2 points here, it does come sliding down to 15 cents around here. If we do see Casper make this move around here, around 15 cents, I think this will be quite a tough zone. I'm not saying we won't break out of it. I believe we will do. And we'll still be in that uptrend of, higher highs, higher lows. But I do think that 15 cents will be quite a tough one for us. So if you're holding or you're longing, like I know Ghost is, brother, shout out to you. Your trade's looking very strong right now. Then we'll see Casper hopefully make that push to 15 cents. And then you could potentially take profits from there as well if you feel that it is your time to do so. We've got a lot of interesting stuff coming this week, which I'll get into the macro and then quickly cycle into the big Casper updates. And that also could potentially allow momentum for Casper to continue and the price to continue rallying. So to start off with, I wanted to quickly just highlight one of the big reasons why we saw Bitcoin correct. We saw a correction in Bitcoin, not that long ago. And of course, a lot of FUD was happening around that time. We saw that massive pull off when it came back down to 115k, 114k. It didn't end up finishing that badly on the day. We saw a big pull off there, and that was because of Mike Novograt's company, Galaxy Digital, completing a sale of over 80,000 Bitcoin, so $9 billion from a Satoshi era investor as well. So it's one of the old investors who sold a considerable amount of Bitcoin, which of course raised concerns for the long-term holders of Bitcoin, store of value who's selling it off. So it is it's a very insane time. But of course, Bitcoin recovered from that already. Starting to be the push up again. So again, it was noise as always. Markets doing very well as a result of that. And again, as you're looking at your M2 money supply, Bitcoin does seem to be on that cup and making that big move soon. Although again, we've got to keep in mind of the macro and geopolitical developments happening right now if we're going to see them affect the market too negatively or not. I'm talking tariffs, of course. China and the United States apparently have just agreed to extend the tariff pause by another 90 days, which is interesting, to say the least, because I mean, Trump did state that he was not going to extend tariffs again. Maybe he's just forming a particular trade deal alone with China. Who knows? But again, Trump said he's not doing it. He's now doing it with China. I mean, it is not the worst thing, him going back on that word. Because, again, tariffs still fun. For the most part, tariffs cause a lot of uncertainty in the market. We know that. We're very aware of that. So him pausing them once again. If it was any other nation, sure, but it's China, the second biggest economy, the biggest exporter in the world. So with that in mind, that being paused is a good thing. And that will therefore alleviate more of the FUD. And I think that's also why the markets are doing so well today, because this pause has come through, therefore meaning that when the tariffs do go live again on Friday, 3rd of August, it shouldn't be as disastrous, especially if we're seeing more good deals coming through as well. Trump says the tariff rate on the EU will not drop below 15%. I think there's currently a deal agreed for 15%. So hopefully that is finalized in the coming days as well, before the end of the week. Now in regards to what's coming out the rest of this week as well, we have got some interesting macro developments. So we got tariffs on Friday. We also then have on Wednesday, we're seeing the FOMC meeting, the decision on rate cuts, which is unlikely going to move. But what will be important is the statement and press conference, how Jerome Powell is perceiving himself, how he's, is he going to be dovish or hawkish? Is he going to be indicating that we're going to end up seeing some rate cuts soon, or holding his stance strong on way of tariffs and inflation right now, which inflation is still low. I mean, it's starting to rally a little bit, up to 2.05%, truth be told, but it's still below the Fed's target, and PCE has put inflation around, I think it's 2.6%. So even then, PCE is still extremely low, which is the Fed's preferred measurement for inflation. And we can see right now that report's also coming on the Thursday. So, point being is this week's going to be very, very important. Very important, because we're going to have the Fed FOMC meeting on Wednesday, followed by the inflation data on Thursday, and then tariffs on Friday. So it's going to be one to keep a very close eye on, because that will determine the at least short term for the markets, and that will determine where Casper is going to move. If we get a dovish stance from Jerome Powell, that will indicate that September could be a big time for rate cuts. Therefore, some FOMO leading up to September. Still quite a while away, but it could be good. And then the PCE comes in good with lower inflation than expected, which I'm suspecting will probably get a break even or maybe a slight increase, truth be told. But if you manage to get a break even, which would be good, or a lower one, that'd be fantastic. And then tariffs, again, we'll see how that affects the inflation and the markets, because tariffs, for the most part, are perceived as very negative. So investors aren't very happy about that, of course, which is why the pausing between China and America is so important for us. But we're sitting strong right now, truth be told, very, very strong indeed. And I want to also play this short clip from this AMA between Zebek and Algorand, talking about real-world asset and payments edition. I'm not talking so much here about their partnership, which I think is still a very big deal for Algorand, but also for Zebek. Zebek is, again, a much smaller asset. With it being a much smaller asset, this partnership will actually help them a lot more to gain quicker momentum, and hopefully, therefore, gain a lot more traction and volume and price as a result of it. But I want to play the last part of this AMA here, because it's them talking to their policymakers, to their banking clients, what they know from the industry, and how therefore they perceive how quickly this big bang moment is about to come to us. Listen very closely to this AMA here.
I think it's happening as we speak, right? I think more and more. I think, to me, like, the regulatory clarity unlocks a bunch of things. Like the Genius Act was just approved in the US last week, so that is a massive unlock, right? I think you'll see a large number of players like moving into the stablecoin space, and that will drive tremendous usage. So I think you'll start seeing this happen over the next couple of months. I think it'll happen very, very quickly.
I agree. I think it's
And
going to
this is
happen a lot sooner than people think. Just giving an example of Zebak, I mean, we've had multiple companies reaching out to us since the Genius Act, looking for stablecoin payroll. This even includes publicly listed companies in the U.S. So we had never seen that, during the years that we were kind of building without this regulatory clarity. So it's really refreshing to see.
So again, their understanding from their institutional clients, their connections, talking to the policymakers, to the banks, these people. I mean, the Beck's got partnership with the likes of MasterCard, with JP Morgan, some big companies. They are perceiving that we're going to see a significant shift happening now, this so-called big bang happening now, which it is. Again, if you're part of the VIP, you would have seen what we posted about JP Morgan, which is happening right now, but also this big bang kind of amplifying in the next couple of months. And I think that's the case, and I agree. The reason why is because a couple of months from now, we're in July, then it's August, then it's September. September is when we believe we'll start seeing rate cuts, which would be fantastic for risk-off assets, for crypto, for Casper, your altcoins. Also, because to my understanding, to my knowledge, the Clarity Act, the market structure bill, is currently being sent to the Senate. And that should, in my belief, be the final round of voting as well, if everything goes according to plan, also for September. So September, we may see the passing of the Clarity Act, which creates clear guidelines between the SEC and CFTC for what they are controlling, which would be fantastic for Casper, because Casper is a commodity, therefore under the CFTC, so it faces less regulatory scrutiny, meaning therefore you'll see a higher likelihood and easier possibility of exchange listings worldwide, ETF filings, institutional adoption, if Casper comes under CFTC, which we would do. So that comes in September, plus rate cuts. September is historically a very bullish month for crypto anyways, but it could be even bigger than we expect. A true, moon candle for a lot of altcoins once this clarity comes through. So September, couple of months, I agree is going to be a very, very big time. So I'm excited for that. Very, very excited. Of course, Casper will have a lot of big stuff out by then. By that point, going September, the the Casplex smart contracts will have been deployed. We've got a countdown here on Cas Live. 35 days, 6 hours, 34 minutes, and 56 seconds now until the mainnet launch for Casplex's smart contracts. Their mainnet launch for their ZK EVM, meaning Ethereum tools, Ethereum dApps, can come onto Casper plug and play very seamlessly. We've heard from previous interviews as well, if you've been tuning into the channel every day or if you've watched the videos. The Casplex team, the KEF, have been talking to other blockchains as well, talking to other stablecoin networks as well, to get them to bridge onto Casplex to Casper. So you'll likely and hopefully see stablecoins being not native necessarily, not immediately, but bridged onto Casper, Casplex quite soon enough, followed by other blockchains starting to come onto Casper, Casplex as well. Increased utility, increased adoption, increased demand, and that will therefore incentivize, miners to start mining again if they have stopped already, because you'll see more transaction, more capital flowing in, and that will also increase the utility of capital, the demand, the price. Ultimately the price. Of course, more mining would end up resulting in a greater supply shock as well. It's a very, very big deal. And typically I would never believe, or I never perceived, that smart contract would cause a price pump in the immediate, right, in the short term. And I still very much have that perspective, but at the same time, I cannot forget and remain ignorant to the 20% candle we saw on the 21st of July, when we saw the confirmation date for Casplex smart contracts and IGRA's testnet, the Genesis activation, going live that day. We saw a 20% candle on a confirmed date for smart contracts and an activation for Genesis activation for the testnet of IGRA. So with that in mind, there may be a possibility we see quite a strong candle leading up to or on the day of the IGRA of the Casplex smart contract launch on the 31st of August. So that's a month off. We could have a very, very interesting month for Casper. Very interesting. This week will be interesting. Going into August, I'm not particularly expecting... Again, it will heavily depend on tariffs for me. The tariffs will depend on the market sentiment. I'm not expecting too much in August, truth be told. I'm expecting a lot in September. So I think September will be a big month, especially for Casper as well. Smart contracts already being launched. September could be a very, very big month indeed. And we've got a lot more announcements to get into as well, which I'll get into in a short moment. Before I do, I want to get some more questions first and foremost. Not that one, Qubit coins chart. Okay, let me look at that one quick. QNT. I did not type in QTC, sorry, QTC. Qubit coin. Don't see Qubit coin here properly. You said here that it's a fair launch, docs team, and proof of work, 21 multiplier Bitcoin, safe trade only. I can't see it on CMC right now. Maybe it's a very new project and not been showed up on CMC just yet. I mean, again, if those who want to get into proof of works or mine it or whatever it may be, again, I'm not saying don't do it. Again, you've got to do your own research, trade at your own discretion. If you want to get into QTC, then go for it. This is the first I've heard of the project, and being a fair launch, being 21 supply like Bitcoin, that always sounds well and good, but at the same time, if it is meant to be a carbon copy of Bitcoin, it's going to take a long time to take off, So we'll have to wait and see. Again, I'm not saying QTC is a bad project, I just can't find it on CMC right now. If you do have the link to it on CMC Art0, then link it to me and send it to me on Discord, please, and I'll load it up on stream. Otherwise, then, as always, family, do your own research and trade at your own discretion. Kryptoni is saying unless it moves to Casper, it will fail. I'm guessing you're referring to Octaspace. If you're not referring to QTC, or you're referring to probably any crypto, to be honest, anything that's not moved to Casper will fail. I mean, I do agree that Casper has, without a doubt, the most innovative technology out there, the protocol out there, and with Dagonite, in the works, that'll be coming out hopefully mid 2026, not earlier. That will be an end-game catalyst event for crypto, with Casper taking over a lot more, because nothing else seems to be able to achieve or looking to try and achieve what Casper's trying to achieve right now of that. So if they don't stop bridge to Casper, then yes, they probably will end up failing. The same way how if TradFi does not bridge to blockchain, the banks that are not adopting ISO 20022 will also fail. So in that regard, then I do agree. But again, that doesn't change my perspective on still the possibility out there of getting into other assets to hedge your bets. Again, be it Sebek, be it your Algorand's, be it your XCNs, be it your XRPs. Again, am I bullish on these assets? I think they'll make money this cycle. That's why I hold them. Not financial advice. Again, I'm doing it because that's what I hold. I hold some XRP. I hold some SUI. I held some SAY. I sold that. I hold some TAO. Assets that I do hold that I think have great price trajectory this cycle. Some I think could do a little bit more than that as well. But nothing for me competes to Casper. That's just my personal perspective, at least. What a long wait. Yeah, it's been a long haul, Joshua. It has been, but hopefully our patience will be paid off very, very nicely soon. Is that a cup and handle pattern for Casper? Not necessarily, no. I mean, I can see why you may believe that. I guess it could be. Technically, the cup like that, it could be. I think typically the cup has to go a little bit higher. And also, I mean, again, I'm not saying it's not. For me, I'm just more so perceiving it as, again, my TA element in terms of whole pattern, stuff like that. There's certain patterns I do use, most I don't. Cup and handle's not one I tend to normally use. I like the perception of higher lows and higher highs. Right now we have got a higher low forming here. Hopefully, therefore, we'll see a higher high form off the back of this as well. That's what I'm hoping for. But again, it does. The patterns are all well and good, right? But I always attest to that. Whilst TA is important and the patterns are also helpful as an investor, nothing can compete to the combination of TA with fundamentals. The fundamentals for this week right now, the three main catalysts: FOMC meeting on Wednesday, PCE inflation on Thursday, tariffs live on Friday. Unless they get delayed again. If they get delayed again, that's also probably quite good. And right now we are seeing some of them be delayed. So again, it's completely possible. If that happens, then if everything comes to our expectations or better, pattern or not, it'll go up. Otherwise, if it comes down worse, then pattern or not, again, it will come down. Fundamentals for me matter more. That's just my perception again. That's not me trying to, again, say that TA is rubbish, because I don't believe that at all. Again, the TA is great, especially if you're trading. I mean, we trade in our community, our VIPs as well, and the TA is very important to help us judge where the price is going to go right now. But at the same time, fundamentals also help you perceive where the markets are going to go, hopefully in the immediate short term. I sent you a message on Discord when you have a time. Yeah, I have seen, so not just you, also I've seen Buffalo as well. Both you and Buffalo have sent me a message on Discord. I've actually been a bit busy the past 2 days, so I've got them there, and I have read them. I promise I will reply. If not today, I'll reply tomorrow, because I still got something to do today, unfortunately. And I do apologise. I do really apologise, because I don't like leaving people on red. I hate it, actually, because I know how frustrated I'd be if I was getting ignored. So I promise to you guys, both Buffalo and Gosu and anybody else who I have yet to reply to, I will read and reply to your messages by end of tomorrow at the very latest, before tomorrow's live stream. I can guarantee you that. So I do apologise for the wait, but I will get back to you very soon. Welcome back, Adam Bates. You're doing very, very well. My name is Adam. I bought Casper today. I had been 7 days since I bought Casper. Oh, welcome, Adam. Great to have you back, man. Thank you for sharing with us. Yeah, I know Kryptoni. I know trash. I'm aware, bro. I understand. Yeah, welcome indeed, man. There could be worse addictions. 100%. Yeah, like coffee. I mean, yeah, that's also a bad addiction, Adam. I agree with that one. The white stuff. Can't even open save trade QC chart. I mean, again, yeah, I couldn't find QTC. Again, if Art0 has whether it be on CoinGecko or even CMC, again, because there are some projects that are not available on CMC just yet. I understand that. is you have the link to, so I can look at the chart and kind of get this kind of breakdown of what it looks like for Casper here with QTC, then I'll look at it. Otherwise, then I can't showcase it on stream right now, unfortunately. And it's only on a garbage exchange that nobody's heard of. I've heard of Safe Trade. I don't think it's. I've never used Safe Trade. I don't particularly ever plan to. I don't, let's say, distrust it, but I don't have a reason to trust it either. I've not looked into it. I'm ignorant. That's what I'm going to say. I'm ignorant to QTC and Safe Trade. But we'll see, Again, there's nothing wrong with people here expressing a belief in a project they want to believe in. If you tell me on stream, I'll look into it very briefly on stream. Of course, if I looked into it already prior to that, I'll give you a bit more information on it. But at the same time, if I can't find it, I can't find it. End of the day, no matter what I say or what I show, everybody always do your own research. It's completely up to you. Anything and everything that doesn't move to Casper will fail. Link and Undo are just about the only other ones asset needed. I think Link is I think Undo's got great connections to BlackRock as well. And they're doing a lot with tokenized securities as well. And then Link as well. They're also doing quite good stuff. So, I think that, again, I do think there'll be multiple assets out there that will have a significant reach and grasp on the financial sector. Already do and are building more and more. XRP is one of those right now. Now, again, will XRP eventually migrate to Casper? Maybe they have to, maybe they won't. I don't know. It's too early to call that. It's too early to call that right now. But that can change, of course. Nobody has complete crystal ball for the future. Although I'm sure some have a better idea than others. But again, I do believe and I do agree with the general sentiment from Cryptonia here that Casper will become this kind of infrastructure blockchain or infrastructure layer for the entire blockchain world. If they don't move to Casper, they risk becoming obsolete. Right now, 2.81 billion market cap, almost 81 million, 24-hour trading volume again, Gate dominating, then Mexi. Big has fallen off a little bit recently, which is unfortunate, but again, that is just how the tides are going right now. A lot more is coming to Casper. We're seeing that happen in real time. Wolfie, Casper Hype Man here, had a nice little post that he shared here from a mate of his, evidently, who apparently just got an iPhone from work. He installed the stock app and he sees Casper right here underneath Bitcoin. Now, whether he set that up, that's just how it was, tough to say. Either way, that is quite interesting to see out there. Just basic stock app, Apple's app, and Casper underneath Bitcoin right there. So maybe that's Apple trying to shield Casper a bit. I don't know. It's a bit speculative, but either way, it's cool to see again. Casper is getting subconscious and gradual more recognition, and seeing crypto as a whole, either way, just being on the app or being on the stock app is again a sentiment to crypto's adoption growing more and more. And other news as well, we also got a post for Casper Door, which was linked to me from Lau, again, shout out my brother, which is interesting. Those who do support me and those who have been saying you want to be able to donate, which there is a Casper donation wallet down below for those who do want to. Again, not telling you to do so. Do as you will. But Casper Door is now trying to develop a Kas Coffee app. There is another one. I forgot what the other one's called. It is a coffee app where you basically can give donations. He's creating one for Casper here, a platform that accepts donations. You create your profile, you describe what it is you bring, and ask for what what you ask for. Share your link and get Casper donations coming soon. That for me is quite cool. If I was to make one, which I imagine I would do in the future, it'd be simply just content creator giving alpha information, spreading news and whatnot. And then, of course, might be able to provide a link to Kas Coffee here to the VIP as well. This one to get even more information from that as well. You can find out there, and you can even therefore probably pay in Casper to, I guess, join the VIP in the future. Who knows? But yeah, it's a great idea actually, I think. And shout out to I'm Aldev for the idea. See a lot more coming through, and this again, the stuff that coming to Casper, the sort of developments we're seeing, I think is once more, it's a testament to how early we are, but also how quickly the space is changing. We have seen 10 BPS on the mainnet since May 5th. That's almost 3 months. 3 months since 10 BPS. It feels like a lifetime ago. Smart contracts aren't even out just yet. We've seen development for smart contracts for a similar time frame for about 3 months. Because after 10 BPS, we started seeing it ramp up a lot more. So again, it's really, really early. And the best part about it as well, we're now seeing the big community of Bitcoin maximalists starting to look into Casper more and more, which is great news. When the altcoin cycle does start, sometime with rate cuts and ETF filings, we'll see a hell of a lot more of that Bitcoin liquidity cycle into the altcoins, and of course start to come to Casper as well, as Bitcoin maxis start to acknowledge Casper as a good alternative to Bitcoin, or similar to Bitcoin, trying to adhere to what Bitcoin cannot achieve, which is the mean of exchange value. So listen very closely here to another Bitcoin maxi just talking about why Casper is again a good hedge.
14 years ago, Satoshi Nakamoto published a white paper and pushed some code that would change the world forever. The Bitcoin code was published, and it was off to a great start. But somewhere along the lines, the vision that Satoshi had of a peer-to-peer electronic digital cash were crushed by the developers who took Bitcoin core code over and decided to keep it restricted, keep it bound, and try to centralize the process of a payments network on top. Today, we have Satoshi's vision that has come to life. So today, we're here to talk about Kaspa, its founder, and is Satoshi's vision about to come back to life, and why I believe that getting Kaspa today could be like buying Bitcoin well under $100. 14 years.
Now, I'm sure there are people who will agree with that sentiment, those who will also think, yeah, it's just classic KOL trigger words to get people to buy Casper. I agree that we are extremely early with Casper, like buying Bitcoin early. Now, exactly at what price at, you can debate that for yourself. $100 Bitcoin right now would be, insane. Considering that Bitcoin right now is at 120k, you're looking at, 100, 1000x type thing. Could have got a lot higher as well. Now, I do agree that Casper's early. Of course I do. And I do agree with the message he has here about how Bitcoin has lost its original vision. That has happened. You've seen the Bitcoin maximalists who are now talking about Bitcoin being a store of value, like Michael Saylor's been talking about, which is fine. But that's not what it was originally created for. It was meant to be also a medium of exchange P2P cash system. It's lost that. It never had that, if anything, because it didn't evolve. Now, there actually is one that I'm going to showcase again. This interview, which I think is very interesting, that I did show to my VIPs earlier today. This is an interview from Joe Cutler. Now, Joe Cutler is a leader in the blockchain space. He was previously representing Washington State first licensed Bitcoin company, being CoinMe. And in this interview here, Joe, he acknowledges the significant adoption coming to crypto. The TradFi company coming in, trillions and trillions of dollars about to flood into this space. Of course, we are all excited for that. But, and this is a testament to what was just mentioned here, in a sense with regard to Bitcoin, and why now people are looking at Casper more so as well. He highlights in this interview his concerns for those who become blinded and are losing their way with why crypto was really created. To give power back to the individual, the consumer, not to banking cartels and to centralized entities. He says in this interview, crypto hasn't democratized much yet. Meaning that crypto, while still a decentralized space, quotation marks there, it's still very much centralized. And with institutions becoming involved right now, they're still they are jumping in, but they're still very much got a whole grasp of centralized infrastructure around the space right now. So what he's saying here in the interview, as we're about to listen to it, he's hoping, and I believe that it's going to be a case that the fintech leaders, people like Joe, people even from the Ripple team or the Cardano team, whatever it may be, the people who are quote-unquote leaders of the space, will reflect back on crypto, what it originally created, and remember the critical ethos of it, which is decentralization, democratization. And in that regard, therefore, that's where Casper will start thriving more better than anything else, because it is the only trilemma-solving asset in this space, and is the only one that I think can actually properly attain what it is he's talking about here from Joe. So very closely again to this part of the interview.
There's two things in all of it. We could talk for a year about this, but there's two things that I would say in summary that I worry about. One is the original mission of the early blockchain project, and I'm so glad that people from Ripple are here, right? Because you get this. Is to democratize access to the control over value. And that's not happening in the institutional rebuild. We haven't democratized much, in my opinion. And I worry about that. I worry that this, and then the second thing is it was also destined to sort of remake the value propositions of aggregation of wealth, money, power, and control into a more balanced system than it was before. And I don't see that happening either in the march towards institutional adoption. And so while we're all excited about new technology, we're all excited about what we can do. We can make a trade faster on a stock exchange. We can make less friction across borders. I just hope that we get out the map once in a while and remind ourselves what country we're in, not what road we're on.
And that is just, again, I think only a small clip, but also a very, very important interview that doesn't have that many views. 2,000 people have seen this. And of course, those who are part of my VIP. So I wanted to highlight that again because it's once more the vision that I think, and frankly, the only asset that can really latch onto this democratization, this ethos of what crypto is, and also I guess what America is as well as a country, freedom. Casper's the only one that can actually attain to that or attest to that. For one of my VIP infos, again, I don't share, sharing more a little bit recently, but I don't share too much. There's a lot of in-depth information in there. Again, we covered some big articles earlier from JP Morgan, alongside other big stuff as well. We covered a whole research document from HTX, one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies in the world, giving a whole breakdown on what they are looking out for in the coming months for crypto, the big catalyst as well. If you want to find out all that sort of stuff, again, links down below in the description and on my homepage on YouTube, wop.com/coin factory. We do the private live streams every single week on a Sunday, trade alerts. We do educational research documents like I just showcased now, sort of interviews as well, and also educational videos on like how to trade and whatnot as well. You can find all sorts of stuff there and a lot more. And again, thanks to our work together now with BYDFI, an exchange with no KYC, no VPN, regulatory licenses in Canada, the United States, and many, many more regions. You can see the watermark in the bottom left as well. If you sign up to the affiliate link down below, or better still, you join the free Discord server and check out the Get VIP Access channel right here, you can receive many, many benefits, including 17% discount on all future trading fees, and equally more if you have more capital and you're a whale. Reach out to me and I can put you in contact with the BYDFI team directly, and I can give you an even bigger discount on trade. You also get a permanent VIP access to the BYDFI channel where they put in trades effectively every single day. And also you can get a 1 month free trial to the Coin Factory executives, where we're posting information in there frequently and updating you all on what's coming, trying to keep you ahead of the game, leveling up your game. So you want to find out all sort of stuff, again, links down below in the description on my Discord server, wop.com/coin factory. We've got a lot more coming to the space, so we're trying to get everybody ahead of the game so we know what is incoming. But let me continue on. Again, we covered the interviews, 2 interviews, one from the VIP, this one here about Casper. The Bitcoin versus Casper debate has been heating up a little bit more. So now, again, I've not listened to this in full just yet. I plan to do so in the next day or two. The much anticipated debate between Casper Silver, and Rajet from the Bitcoin Maxi space, who I'm going to cover some posts regarding the whole thing. And again, it seems that the sentiment was once more that Rajet was inevitably going to come to Casper, but he's still very much misinformed. Shout out to Toggle, who gave a little bit of rundown. Actually, I saw this exact same rundown in my Discord server. I think Toggle put it in my Discord server earlier as well, and I do agree. It's funny, how Rajet was saying, I can't see Casper using money. And Casper just asked, why not? What is money? Rajet says a current medium of exchange and store of value. Casper does that, and I use it for money right now. I see it to be used for other things like messaging, but not money. But why? He had no answer to that, apparently. Again, I'm saying apparently because I've not watched it myself, but I choose to trust my community, who have said that as well, and I watch it myself as well. But either way, why? Why would it not be using money? Why only messaging? He had no answer to that. It's purely just on the ideology that he doesn't want it to be used for money, because it therefore would put a bigger threat to Bitcoin, I guess. But he has not got an actual answer for why. So as Toggle says here, and I do care to agree, therefore, if that's the case, Rajet will accept Casper 100%, but it's just a matter of time. Every Bitcoin Maxi will accept Casper. Casper can't be ignored. No more. Everyone will open their eyes one day. And I agree. One day, everybody will open their eyes to Casper and see what is coming to the space. We've got another lengthy post here as well from Shai as well, which does build on top of more so of that interview, or that debate even. I'm not going to go to the whole thing. I'm going to paraphrase it. The paraphrasing is basically, Rajat has said on a number of occasions that he's not happy or does not like the pruning protocol element of Casper. The idea that you haven't got to have an archival node, you can just have the pruning mechanism, which actually works better. In a sense, has benefits and negatives, but for the most part, it makes it more decentralized and actually quicker as well. So it's a big benefit, the pruning mechanism for Casper. Rajat doesn't like it, and he has debated or spoke about it with Shai on one occasion, where he basically handpicked and nitpicked this certain phrase that Shai had used about aesthetics, which I don't exactly know where it was. But yeah, talk about aesthetics here, and he just took that and ran with it. Aesthetic. I wouldn't have to even explain all of this if the entirety was available. And despite the fact that Shai has, on a number of occasions, created threads, tried to have hard discussions with Rajat, Rajat has always ignored Shai, which, again, you're not by any means required to speak to somebody about it. Again, that's not the point. But, and I do understand Shai's frustration here, and I do in a case agree. Rajat is by no means at liberty to discuss with Shai about the belief of, the pruning mechanism versus the archival node, but what's better. But if you're going to continue to stand on a hill and die on it, and have a complete and utter, just continuously use this one point about why this model doesn't work, taking something out of context, which is what Shai is saying here, and then even go on to a debate, which he did on Sunday, or a day even yesterday, and still use that same point when Shai has tried to explain it to him, but met on deaf ears, then he is, of course, understandably very, very frustrated, And he's tried again. He's done it with a number of people. He's done it with Creator as well. I mean, Shai is, of course, not new to the whole debating Bitcoin maximalists or just debating people in general, which does end up getting very, very heated. Fred Krueger being one as well, who blocked him because his Medium profile doesn't have any posts or many posts, which I do remember that actually, and therefore called him unprofessional. I think, again, it depends on how you do your research, right? I don't trust Fred Krueger as far as I can throw him, to be honest. He's been one of the biggest Casper fudsters, and he's a Bitcoin maxi, and it's evident he doesn't know what he's talking about. I've seen enough of Fred Krueger to know he's not that educated. He's someone who just got Bitcoin early and therefore would die on that hill. And that's the problem with many Bitcoin maxis. They're just dying on that hill. They're forgetting the ethos of Bitcoin, why they got to Bitcoin in the first place. So you have that whole thing here from Shai, which I will link in my community as well and repost if I haven't done so already. And then you've got, it building up more stuff from here. People saying you should do a debate between Matt and Shai. But again, I don't think Shai wants to do that, to be honest, anyways. And then it goes on a little bit more so here. Given the quality of the video he made on Casper last year, not sure he could provide any useful argument. I recall cracking up the whole video as he wouldn't let go of the fact that Tom Polinsky tweeted, shoved it down for Casper. Plus, a lot of people stuck on their get rich from that 1 million post. That's just bad faith, nitpicking to make Yoni look bad. And Shai says, I don't care about Yoni per se. It's just, I've always just, he's basically like, if Creator was open to the point with me, then I honestly say that I don't like the guy. But there's bigger things out there to keep our eyes on. He's trying to say that he wouldn't want to really debate with Creator, and I guess within his rights and have to. But it seems to be still a lot of tension between Casper and Bitcoin maximalist, and it's just again down to stubbornness and misinformation. I guess it comes down to where it may be. I think the Twitter space, the debate that happened, while I haven't listened to it yet, I think from what I have heard, it probably was quite insightful. I mean, Shai just go on to say that Casper did do a good job as well. But it does seem to be, again, that a lot of the Bitcoin maxis are misinformed. And I agree once more with Toggle, that eventually all of these Bitcoin maxis will come to accept Casper, because it's not Casper. Casper is a threat to Bitcoin, but not in the sense of necessarily trying to replace it, but coexisting. It can eventually replace it, sure, but it's trying to coexist with it. And because Bitcoin maxis seem to misunderstand the actual, I guess, the technology behind even Bitcoin at times, seemingly understanding how this stuff works, these people who are they are like me in the sense of they've read up on stuff and therefore they believe they're right. I will always say that my understanding of, Casper will never, ever, ever be as superior to likes of Shy, people who've been in the insider team, who helped in the research, or the core devs who were doing the code, like Michael Sutton or Son Polinsky. That's not to say that, of course, these people can be wrong at times, but I would never, for the moment, I would always be open to learn more. Again, I think maybe it's me. I tend to be open to try and learn more as opposed to just shutting off help, if you will, which I think a lot of Bitcoin masters are like that. That's just the Bitcoin element. Again, I think Rajat will change his mind. Again, a lot of his points seemingly were disproven, or he couldn't have a proper rebuttal to it, so he latched onto wrong elements. And we'll see, I'm sure, more and more of these Casper versus Bitcoin debates happening. And as a result of it, more Bitcoin maxis starting to, or again, people who get into crypto the first time will get into Bitcoin and then start hearing about other assets, your Ethereum, your XRP, your Solanas, but they also hear about Casper, despite it being a much smaller asset, only number 41 on CMC right now. You hear about Casper because Bitcoin maxis are starting to actually debate and talk about it with them. And they'll start getting intrigued, and then that will be enough for them to at least start hedging a little bit into Casper as well. Meaning Casper's price, therefore, can pump a lot more because Bitcoin maxis start shifting their capital and hedging and allocating their capital from Bitcoin, putting even 5 or 10% in Casper as well. Casper's got an uphill battle, of course, but a lot more is coming. KRI being a big part of that as well. This one is special. Real-world asset tokenization, supply chain, and commodity trading. A great test case. Watch this space. Olive Chain will be coming to Casper as well, which is insane. I'll be looking just a little bit more so if I can do. But I do think people, for the most part, are very much sleeping on the KRI and what they're bringing out. And speaking of which, they have got a new post here as well, talking about regulatory issues, if you will. Casper community update: the EU's CSDDD compliance nightmare is our opportunity. Some of you have been asking what happens to Casper's economics after emission ends. Here's the truth: we don't need high fees, we need scale, and real world adoption is already here. And that's something, again, that Bitcoin message used time and time again to say Casper's going to fail. It needs to reach $100 by 2027 to be what's the word I'm looking for? To be beneficial to incentivize miners to continue mining. It had to be $100 by 2027. No, it doesn't. They'll mine it for transaction fees, not for the price of Casper. You don't need a high price of Casper necessarily, not right now at least. It'll go up in the future with more demand. You need scale, and Casper can scale. It needs reward adoption, and it's already here. The EU has made the world's largest companies, about 6,500 plus companies, liable for every supplier's violation. 5% of global revenue per infraction, and only Casper can scale to track millions of suppliers in real time. The Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, or CSDDD, hits mid-2028, so that's only 2 to 3 years from now. It forces companies to verify their entire supply chain's human rights and environmental compliance across many, many sectors. Not just direct suppliers, the suppliers too. This is a violation, and therefore loses 5% of global revenue per violation. Industry leaders are saying, we have 3,000 suppliers. Our last audit took 8 months and cost 12 million, found to be 60% of issues, and 5% fines would be 500 million. This is impossible without blockchain. So they accept that blockchain is needed for them to be able to actually achieve and stay within these kind of compliant areas. And of course, in that regard, therefore, look, clients are terrified. Qatar threatening to cut LNG from Europe over this. Europe are in a big issue right now because they're so focused on control. That's their downfall as well. And that therefore may end up creating a perfect opportunity for Casper, therefore. Casper's tracking emissions per shipment, 10 BPS that can handle real-time Internet of Things data, 40,000 TPS processes entire enterprise volumes, fraction of cent fees makes millions of daily logs viable, immutable records that regulators trust. And the KRI are building that sort of stuff now with ZTEX, real-time compliance dashboards, smart contracts that auto-flag violations, and supply chain transparency platforms with IoT integrations. So this is, again, a big deal, and I'm sure I'll make a video on this later on as well. So the maths you've been asking about, you said it on X. Casper doesn't need $10 gas fees, it needs volume. At 40,000 TPS with 0.01 gas fees, which equals to 34.5 million Casper per day to miners. And that's post-emission sustainability through utility, not artificial scarcity. The market backs us up. Blockchain supply chain solutions grow from $2 billion as of right now to $190 billion by 2030. So that, if I'm reading that correctly, indicates that Casper right now, by this logic from this sole element, from the KRI, from this CSDDD, could put Casper therefore at 192 billion market cap by 2030, which of course therefore, if the massing, will put it in and around $8 or just short of that, about $7, $8. With $7, $8 in 5 years from its 10 cents right now, that's a lot. You know, that's quite a considerable rally. That's a 70-80x. That's quite a considerable rally. In 5 years, if you got told you can make a 70-80x in Casper, or if you got told if you put your money aside somewhere, leave it for 5 years, and you'll make 70 times your money back, do I need to say more? CSDDD alone will drive millions of daily transactions. We just signed with the KII. Competitors using traditional audits will get destroyed by fines. First movers win. This is in theory. Pilots are being developed. The infrastructure is being built. And CSDDD is just one of many regulations. You've got CSDR, CBAM, SEC climate rules that are creating mandatory blockchain demands, which will be very expensive. And they have to utilize elements like Casper to help keep those fees down, to help avoid fines from missing stuff out as well. Casper wins through utility. And as Tony says, everything will come to Casper if they want to remain relevant, or they'll risk expensive fines and become obsolete. Everyone in the community is aware of the need for transaction volume to increase on Casper's network to sustain the security. Because we are aware of this, we tackle it head on. Here's one example that easily covers the security budget for the long term. Remember, this is just one example. Again, one example. So 192 billion market cap. That's just one of many fields Casper getting into. Cross-border payments, supply chain, your energy markets. And that's all we talk about, the retail side of things, just the exchange thing and whatnot. In my opinion, Casper has nothing to worry about with regards to security budget. This will also massively incentivize miners to direct the hash at Casper, making it even more secure. Positive flywheel. This is where we're at with Casper. We are extremely early. And I might save this post for another day. Shout out to Doma, who made a thread regarding Wallet 2 should potentially be belonging to Casper, which we do tend to have that ideology anyways. But the post here is quite interesting about it. I'll probably link it in my Discord server so you go through it yourself if you want to. But it does indicate the coincidental timing between Binance and Casper working together and their first ever transaction, which you know about already. But again, cool stuff all around. A lot more is coming to Casper. The KRI, again, we cannot sleep on it. I understand you want to make gains this cycle, and I still think we'll make big gains to Casper this cycle, no doubt. But one thing that we continuously highlight and drive home in our VIP, which you can find out a lot more with the information provided in there, and if you get involved, again, 1 week free trial or 1 month free trial if you sign up to the BYDFI, is crypto is no longer a get-rich-quick scheme. Institutions are coming in for the first time, they get involved, they are planning for the long term. I'm talking 5-10 years, if not longer in the future, 20-30 years. They are planning for the long term. So do you want to make money this cycle? Of course you do. And we will. I'm convinced we still will. With Casper, with other cryptos as well, I'm sure we'll see a lot of gains. And a big catalyst will be in the next, this week potentially, and also the next 2 months. And again, cover that more in the VIP, exactly why. Check that out down there as well. We just uploaded the VIP roundtable earlier as well. But this is not just a get-rich-quick scheme anymore. It's not a crypto casino. It is a long-term hold. You're seeing here the sort of capital that the numbers, the maths that's coming through, how much we're going to end up seeing coming through. The price of Casper will be sustained not through it necessarily being worth $100 by 2027, but it having so much transaction fees, the miners end up making money through that. And that in turn will increase the demand for Casper, as you're seeing it utilized by more institutions for this sort of stuff, and therefore increases value as well in its price. That's how it works. I'll make sure I'll break this down even more so, and a lot more of the incoming catalyst for Casper as well in a video throughout the week, probably tomorrow, if not tomorrow, then Tuesday. But there's so much more coming to the space, so keep learning, don't be emotional, and be logical. You know the deal, right? Timu Cup and handle 100%. Yeah, just do research again. I'm not. Again, I understand where you're coming from, Art Zero. Again, I can't see the project myself, so I can't attest to it. But everybody do your own research regarding whatever you're holding right now, whether it be QTC or whether it be Casper as well. Just keep researching. True. Again, they will fail. If they move to Casper, I agree. I mean, I think we can see that much. That's basically what the KRI is saying here as well. If they move to Casper, they will fail. It'll be too expensive. If all of the code for Casper is open source, what is there stopping other developers copying the code and linking it to their networks? Sorry. It's a very, very good question, actually. It's a very, very good question. Let me think of an answer. I would say that there's not much stopping them, but I guess you could put stuff like, licensing. I guess they do license it, they could do something like that, copyright, stuff like that as well. But I mean, for example, right, if Bitcoin uses the MIT license, which means that legally developers are generally allowed to copy, modify, or distribute the code, as long as they include the original copyright and license notices. So in that regard, therefore, if Casper is described as completely open source with method of governance following the ethos of Bitcoin, you might see a Casper license in the sense of other projects can copy and use Casper's code, open source code, but they would have to include the original copyright and license notice, which means that everyone would know that this came from Casper in the first place. And the other big reason why they may not, is my favorite Chris Kang post, which I load time and time again now, is because they wouldn't want to, because they are stubborn and because they already have something that works for them. The reason why other projects may not shift and copy Casper's open source code is because existing solutions already generate income ranging from hundreds of thousands to millions. In fact, the video I just made recently on Casper shows like actually making potentially even billions of dollars a month. So in that regard, therefore, they're making that much money. While of course going to Casper is better, they wouldn't want to change. They're already doing fine, So that's at least my answer. Again, that can easily change. We'll have to wait and see. August has been a good month for Casper in the past. I'm sure it has been. We'll have to wait and see. You have to wait and see. I'm sure it's been a good month as well. But again, August is looking like a bit of a skeptical one because of all the tariff potential headlines. Casper launch on Trade or Balance Game. I mean, again, I'm not putting anything down. Just got to do your own research. I have Ondo and Link. I haven't actually got either of those two, but I do think both of them are very, very good. I do plan to probably get into a little bit of Ondo at the very least. Maybe this cycle, get into next cycle as well. Is Pump is fake again? Sure. Yeah. I'm just seeing more questions right now. I thought Trade.org was stealing Casper like a year ago. They may have done. I'm not too well aware of it, though, truth be told. QGC is a centralized search engine, not a layer 1. Again, I've not looked into it, so I cannot confirm or deny it. Apparently it's new layer 1. Again, I don't know. Ripple's a joke. I mean, again, everyone can like or hate what they want to do. I'm not saying I trust Ripple. The fact that you saw their co-founder, Chris Larsen, dump 50 million tokens at the peak is not reassuring. But at the same time, I'm just highlighting again this possibility to make other money elsewhere. I hold XRP to make gains and flip that capital into my actual conviction holdings. Not because I believe in XRP, although it has got seemingly deep ties to these governments and banks and whatnot, to put it in a strong spot. It'll get ETFs to cycle as well, bring its high price higher as well. I believe it for that reason. But will it end up being crushed in the future? I mean, maybe the KRI will do it for Casper with their warp core. Who knows? When native smart contracts? August 30... Or native, actually, that's a good question. We have no idea of native just yet. The timeline that I'm currently going off is when Igra Labs made a post talking about wanting to shift They're going to be running off... I think I forgot what the name is called for it. I think it's let me find the name for it real quickly. I'll load the post up real quickly as well. Igolaz made a post. Where is it? This one? No, not that one. So give me a quick moment whilst I find it. It's a post Igolaz made where they're talking about it. They seem to believe and hope we'll see native smart contracts. Yeah, here it is. On bridging. By April 2026. That's their hope. They're talking about bridging here. So basically when they launch their mainnet, which will be happening in Q4 of this year, they'll be using community bridging first, which basically means trusting a third party to bridge ICAS to Casper. And then by April 1st, meant to be 2026, not 2027, 2026, they'll be shifting to either using ZK opcodes or MPC bridging as well, which highlight down here. MPC is multi-party computation, which is a cryptographic technique that allows many users to compute a known circuit together. It's, not perfect, but it's slightly better than community bridging. But of course, ideally they want to use ZK if it is available by April 2026. So right now, the timeline that I'm going off on the hope is it'll be April 2026 next year. But again, we'll have to wait and see. That's about 6 months from now, 8 months from now. Just look at more questions right now. I'm almost finished with it. Is wild how much he doesn't understand cryptocurrency. He's a finance bro, not a crypto bro. Finished with what? It's all finishing with the Rajette interview. Yes. Yeah, again, I want to watch it. I will plan to watch it later on. Again, yeah, from what I understood as well, Rajette doesn't trust Bitcoin either, but he knows there's a big money making opportunity, so he's holding it. So again, it's just he doesn't understand it too much. He never heard of Nev. I mean, that's for me is insane. He'll learn more. He'll learn more in the future, I'm sure. He was lost in the desert, standing on a hill. He was certain on a mountain. Pretty embarrassing. I mean, yeah. Again, he will learn, I'm sure. He had 1 point. That wasn't even a point. Yeah, it might be the thing that Shah was talking about as well, which again was taken out of context. Yeah, exactly. You can take a camel to the well, but you can't teach it how to drink, right? Same saying. You can teach him how to fish, and he can, but he doesn't want to fish. He doesn't want to learn. He thinks he can do a better method, then it doesn't matter. So. Oh, Kryptoni, I know you, Tommy, and I'm being fully aware myself. Mika is very restrictive. I don't like it. I hate it. But those controlling rules may also incentivize more adoption into Casper, because Casper is kind of the safety net for them. So actually the controlling rules, which are terrible, may be that bridge in for Casper as well, being decentralized as well. So, I mean, that could be a very big move as well. Welcome back, Lazy. Hope you're doing very well, bro. New regulations in Europe are making investors to leave Europe because they're hunting your assets. Yeah. And that regard, therefore, if they want to stay in Europe, they have to use Casper. Although saying that, apparently Bitcoin falls outside the ethos of Mika as well. So how Casper will fit in again, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Mika's too restrictive. It's terrible. Don't know if you can save Europe, honestly. Don't know if you can save it at all. But that being said, though, I'm being told that I do have to go and do what I didn't finish yesterday. So I'm very sorry for the abrupt ending, family, but that'll be it for the Casper and Crypto live stream. As always, if you enjoyed the content, we're at 38 likes. If we can make 50 likes, that'd be absolutely insane, family. If you enjoyed the stream, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more. We've got a big week ahead of us. Very, very big week. And Casper, again, is in a prime spot to seeing so much more coming to the space. Bitcoin Max is coming over more and more. Casper, saving Europe as well from their strict regulatory control and regime. We're seeing more and more coming. Much more coming. More regulated to the Casper as well. And smart contracts on the way. 35 days off. We're fortunate. That being said, if you enjoyed, leave a like. If you want to know more about crypto and Casper, check out the free community. Links in the Discord, links down below in the description. Also my homepage here. Or check out the VIP. More in-depth information. VIP information. Interviews like this where you can find out more ahead of time. Understand what this space is coming to and therefore why Casper is so good in our belief as well. Have a great day, good evening, good night, my people, my family, and I will speak to you all tomorrow.